Welcome to the Yeshiva Daf sponsor Lui Nishma Sam Yakashom Leab Sitzchok. We're holding in Makos Daf Chof. We're starting it after you test Samud base towards the bottom. Gemara said we got to third wide line in the bottom. Oma Avasi, Oma Vircha. Mag Sesheni Me Masai Chayovim Olav. From when are you Chayov? When does a person have a problem to eat Ma'aser Sheni? Meaning, you're not allowed to eat Ma'aser Sheni if it was not in Yerushalayim. For what stage does a person not allow to eat Ma'aser Sheni? It's a simple understanding. The way Gordon said till now is the Ma'aser Sheni, you can't eat it once since the time you took it out of the tree. Ma'aser Sheni, you can't eat it. Says the Gemara, no. This shita is Mishra Pnei Choymo. Only once it reaches Pnei Choymo, that's the time that you're chayav. My time no more call. It says you're going to eat in front of Hashem in Yerushalayim. If you're reading that you're eating in front of Hashem in Yerushalayim, then the Yisur comes about. So he has to go together. If you can eat in Yerushalayim, then you can't eat outside Yerushalayim, and vice versa. Meisivei says, we're going to use a question. So Kohen picks up a fig of tevel, meaning it was not fixed. So what does he do? So he says this teino, the truma will be in its oiketz, in its stem, and towards the stem. Ma'aser B'tzfayin in the north, Ma'aser Sheni L'Droim in the south. Ma'aser Sheni B'Yerushalayim, that's because Ma'aser Sheni Yerushalayim. Or Ma'aser Ani V'Bigvulim, or even if it's a year Ma'aser Ani and Bigvulim mean that it's even outside Yerushalayim. So in all these cases, what happens right now? He's designated a place. So he does truma in one place, Ma'aser Rishon another place, Ma'aser Sheni, right? So b'tzad the truma, he's good. Right. So he's b'tzad the truma. He put in the truma. The kohen can eat truma. So he puts truma aside. He can eat truma. Mitzad Ma'aser Sheni, and he's Yerushalayim, he can eat it because he's in Yerushalayim. So what is the issue? The issue is the Ma'aser Rishon is tovul the trumas Ma'aser. Every Ma'aser Rishon you have to take out of it 10% in trumas Ma'aser. So that's what you're missing over here. You're missing it to do the truma out of the Ma'aser. Now he says, if you would say, Rashi says, if you would say there's trumas Ma'aser over here, you'll be good. He didn't say it. So therefore, the Chavum Das is the more loikachas. Bizar shachla. Who eats can eat also truma, like a shtayim. Right? So now it's going to be like it too, because right now there's truma over there. If you would eat it originally, and if you originally without doing any afrashas, he gets one makos for eating tevel. Tevel is, it was tevel, it was not yet truma services. Person not late tevel, you get one makos. But now there's already truma and mice over there, so he's chayav out truma, and it's chayav out the fact that you have Ma'aser Rishon that you didn't take out Shuma's mice. So that's what the Brisa says. So the Gemara, the only reason the Kohen is like a one, and this shows like a two, is because it's Yerushalayim, so Ma'aser Sheni is not a problem. Big vulim, but if it would be outside Yerushalayim, like a Shalgash, you get a third market. For what? Ma'aser Sheni. Avgav the lav, roya prechoimo. Mashma from this Brisa, the Kohen picked up a fig from wherever the tree. Right after it came out of the tree. You say, if it's Yerushalayim, you're good. If it's not Yerushalayim, you get a Makos. Right? Because it's in Yerushalayim, you don't have an issue to worry about Ma'aser Sheni. But if it would be Yerushalayim, if it would not be Yerushalayim, you would get. Masha, you get Makos even if it did not go into Yerushalayim. And the Gemara just said before, the only time you get Makos is only if you went into Yerushalayim and came out. That's the Chiddush of Yechezkel. Says the Gemara, the Aylo v'Avke. No, he took it out. He took it back out. Yachi my lemers, what's a chiddush? He brought it in without being mafresh Ma'aser Sheni. Meaning, what did he do? He took the fig the way it is to Yerushalayim and took it out. So he didn't. Ma'aser Sheni was not fresh. But even though it was not taken out because they were about to take it out, it's considered to be that he did be Ma'aser Sheni. So that's what happened. So immediately, what is the Gemara saying over here? We're saying like this. It's considered to be the Ma'aser Sheni was hufresh. But, and therefore, when he goes out of Yerushalayim, it's going to be chayav on the, so it's considered to be there was hufresh Yerushalayim. Once it's hufresh Yerushalayim, you go out, you're chayav in it. It wasn't hufresh, you consider it to be hufresh. Now, why is it chayav? But what's the problem with this point? Because we learned in the Braiso, that the kohen is chayav on the Chumas Meiser of Meiser Rishon, because he didn't mafresh it. Who needs to be mafresh it? Right? If it's kibish shurma, there's no market by the kohen. The kohen is allowed to eat Chumas Meiser. The only problem is that he didn't divide it. He didn't separate it. But if you're saying I don't have to separate it, so what's the problem? So it comes out you have to say in the Pshat, there's a longer reason in this position with the point the Ritva says, it's only lechum, not lekul. You're assuming that it's considered to be mufresh legabe chuvas ma'aser sheni, that you're not allowed to eat it now anymore. But not to fix the problem of chuvas ma'aser to say you could eat it. Okay. So you want to say the Reisi holds that thing, even though he did not take it, the truma is considered to be as if he took it out. Now we have a din. There's two dinim we have to know in order to understand this brayso. Din number one is the way when is ma'aser become ma'aser? Every ma'aser, not only ma'aser sheni, ma'aser rishon, truma, is once nigmar melachta. Once you finish to process it, while you're still in the process, so there's no chiyuv ma'aser. Number two is you cannot redeem ma'aser sheni that went into Yerushalayim. So if I took fruit, says the brayso, that lo nigmar melachta, meaning that there's no chiyuv ma'aser, took it into Yerushalayim and took it out of Yerushalayim, can I still redeem it? Yeah, because it did not become ma'aser until you finish the process. So if Yerushalayim she fought the ma'aser sheish, we can redeem ma'aser sheish. You can eat it anywhere. Where's machlokes? Peirus shenigmar melachtom of Yerushalayim. Peirus that the melacha was finished, and it went through Yerushalayim, but he didn't take it out. In other words, it's ready to be mafi ma'aser sheni, but l'maisa he didn't do it. You cannot redeem it. Why? Because once the ma'aser sheni was ready to be taken out, it's considered to be as if it's taken out. Matana shlo hurmu kimishurmu. Why? So I have fruits here that went through Yerushalayim. Fruits are going through Yerushalayim. But and they're finished the malacha. So they're ready to be separated ma'aser sheni. But did you separate it or not? But Shabbos say, I don't care if you didn't separate. If it's ready to be separated, it's good enough. Beisil say no. So you see Beisil, Rabbi Yais is saying the Beisil hold the matana shelo hurmu kimi shelo hurmu. So why are you saying before that Beisil hold kimi shelo hurmu? He's like if it's said to be that was taken out, so it came into Yerushalayim, you can't redeem it. Marabo machitza lechol deraiso. Machitza lekloit derabon. With this we saw Bomenzi. You need a wall to eat Peirus Yerushalayim. Midoraiso to eat it. If you don't have a wall, you can't eat it. The idea of klito, what's klito? Klito is that it goes in, and once it goes in, you can't take it out. When you take it out, you can't redeem it. It's only in derabon, midoraiso. And Meluot. It goes rabon in case of be'enim. The tivlo goes rabon. The goes only when you actually have ma'aser sheni separated, but not when it's a teva. Meaning, what is the Gemara saying? The Gemara says like this: really old, so if I have fruits and they're ready to be separated, even though I didn't separate it, consider it as if it was separated. That's why ma'aser sheni that came to Yerushalayim, went out of Yerushalayim. There's the Yisrael has a lot to eat them. You're not allowed to eat it because it went through Yerushalayim. But legabe klito, that means you can't redeem it. That is true. You can't redeem ma'aser sheni. Once it went into Yerushalayim, that's a derabbanan. Derabbanan do not by derabbanan. You don't say kibbushim with that. Derabbanan not grazer. So we talk about here that the Peirus did not go into Yerushalayim. He was holding a kohen. He was holding a stick. And the stick had the fruits in it. That's what it was. And therefore what? Look at Losharash. So what's the chiddush to look at shalosh? Itzrich going to knock it bekanyo. Kamash Walan. The more asked before, right? What was the Chiddush? What was the Chiddush? In other words, he was standing in Yerushalayim holding a stick with fruits outside Yerushalayim. He's chayav on these prayers. Why? If they didn't go into Yerushalayim, he's holding the stick. It's considered to be the did come to Yerushalayim. So considered to be the fruits that did come to Yerushalayim. And that's the Chiddush. The Chiddush is that even though they didn't actually come to Yerushalayim, but because they're being held in a stick by someone who's in Yerushalayim, so then once it's in, you can't go and from here on, anybody who eats it is chayav. And Tiv Shabbat that Papa asked before, is a kone considered to be in Yerushalayim or not? I think what I said before, teikoi. Right? That's what we ended yesterday's daf. Don't kill the kid in my teikoi. That's a upshitus. So the Mishnah. Hakureach korcho v'rosh. Hakureach korcho is regarding someone who has a mace. Someone died in the family, and he pulls out the hair of his head. So he's over Yisr. He gets Makos. Hamaki Peas Roishoy. As we know, Maki Peas Roishoy is taking out the Peas. Makes out kafla. As we'll see in the Gemara. In other words, he straightens it out and makes it straight. Mashchi Peas Kani ruins the beard. Vaserit Sweeto Achas Alames. So he does one sweeto for that person. He scratches his body. Chayav. But if he did one sweeto on 5 different mesim, so 1 for 5 or 5 for 1, if each one is chayav. Now, ala roishstein, the payas of the head, you have 2, 1 for this side, 1 for this side. There's 2 payas. The way the Rivan says, by the way, this starting from previous daf, it says the Rashi was nifter, and from here on is the Pirush Makos, the Pirush of Rivan, is the son-in-law. So the Rivan tells us that where is the 5? It's the edge of the beard over here, the edge of the beard over here in the top, down here in the edge, down here in the edge, and in the middle. This is machlokes. Some shivas over here. 5 different locations of the beard. That's a mocha that you're not allowed to shave, and with a tie, with a blade, and someone who does that is chal. If you did it all in one shot, there's only one. Only if he uses a blade. Is different types of scissors that we'll see in the Gemara. They use, it's not real scissors. Malak-Retini is used mainly for building material, and it's not really a blade. And Rav Lozo is machmir in there as well, and we'll get to that. Beis Hashem, we'll discuss in the Gemara when we get there. So it says by Kohanim, they should not cut their hair for a mace. Maybe he does. He pulls the hair 5 different places. It's chayav only one. Each one is chayav. Why it says in their head. That's there's 2 psukim very important to understand the sugya. The first pasuk we mentioned is a pasuk referring to Kohanim. Should not do a korach. Second pasuk refers to any person in Am Yisrael. So, with the pasuk in Am Yisrael, it says it says between your eyes. What is between your eyes? I could have think it's over here. Or maybe here, like the tefillin. And the Arab's kol roish. The Arab's kol roish. That's the whole hand. What? One is by Kohanim. No, so you learn one from each other. How do you see? The Kohanim have a special limud. They have a special lav. They have additional lav, additional isur the Kohanim have. So, but you learn Kohanim from Yisrael together. It says the Gemara, "Vein the other Kohanim shibra Makos mitzvah says Kohanim have a special mitzvahs. Yisrael minayin. I know they have also isur. Emar kal korcha v'emar lan korcha. Malon chav korcha v'korcha. You have in each one. This is korcha. Chav al rosh kivei einayim. Chav the entire head. Chav chav kol korcha v'korcha. Chav al rosh kivei einayim. Yeah, the whole thing. Now, mace. There it says mace, because the pasuk says It's clearly mace. I've got no mace. Doesn't mean a person cuts his hair off because a sports team loses. That's not the answer. The answer is premise. Says the more Ani Dalvek. What's the case? I said he did 4 or 5 pulling of the hair. Meaning he pulled it 5 different times, and each time they gave him a straw. Don't do it. He did it. So Pshita, of course. Don't do it. And he did it. Of course he's chad. Someone of Chapman base. Elo bechad hasra. One straw, and he cut 5 times. No, the shash yain kol hayoim and yuchayav elo achas. So he's drinking wine the whole day. He's chayav only one. Don't drink every asur is chayav one. Mash, if you don't do asur, you chayav only one. So he told him one. It's chayav one. Why you chayav 5? So it's tzricha desach chamesh it's boys of nashov v'osvinu bevasachas. Havla asur kol chad v'chad. He did. He put 5 fingers. He put in nashos, the cream, to cut the hair, to pull the hair, and he did it in one shot in 5 different locations. And he gave him a straw. Don't do it. So the asur is chal in all of them. So he's doing 5 ma'asim b'vasachas. So he's chal in each one. So that's the chiddush. That's why it's not pshit. What's the minimum amount to pull the hair? As long if you could see the skull, size kigris, which is the size that we learn from tsaras. Our gris is ketanoi. Kamishur kol kigris. Achay moim kedeshir miroishoy. Umavidu b'chaviv upliga batlos of noise. 3 tanoim. Chadom kigris. That's a small size. Chadoimer. The chadoimer kedeshir miroishoy. You can see the head. The chadoimer kedeshtei saros. 2 hairs. He can demavik shtei saros or mal bekadosh. They do tishdar. Says kadosh, which is like a bean, different size. Vesimonoch. Hairs kigris umachio bekadosh. You want to remember the ones that the last mandama, what does he hold? He's saying he's one of the measurements that you mentioned. He disagrees. Which one does he disagree with? In order to remember by tsaras, you have 2 measurements. You have kagris, you have kadosh. So you want to know what are the 2 measurements we have according to the first mandama over here. One mandama holds gris, the other mandama is kadosha, because this girsa takes away the 2 sides. So the 2 measurements I'm left with is gris kadosh, even though you have a third one. But these are the 2 that we're coming to remember that he took away the 2 sides. Someone who cuts his hair with a scissors and Shabbos chayav. How much is that? 2 sides. It says lekorach shtayim. Only korach is 2. Not only korach shtayim, but also like Shabbos. Bring a price this way. What's the shear? After there's no shear, we have to insure him. Yeah, that's the makor. The Gemara is bringing the makor from Shabbos. In other words, I don't know what it is. Every shear depends on what's the regulus to do it. So I'm telling you the same regulus. I don't know about Pizu Shabbos chayav. Kam lo Piazuk shtayim. Those are even achas. Those are even one here. She's a machlekes. Not even partial to him. Take out the white out of the black. First one, take out the white out of the black, to look young. Because he's enjoying even one, not pulling out hair. They can't do even the weekday because loibash. Why take out the white hair? You want to look beautiful? Let's think of a woman, not for a man. Says the Gemara, "Ve'hamakif, peas roishav choli." Says the Gemara, "Tona abanon peas roishav soif roishav." The end of the edge. Meaning, as the Rivan explains, the forehead has no hair. Behind the ear, there's no hair. Someone who straightens it up, makes it all straight, that's the Yisur pace. The one who's cutting the hair, the barber, and the one taking the haircut, they both get Makos. Says Bishama, the one giving the haircut, I understand. He's doing Yisur. But the other one, what is he doing? He's eating a date be'arbalo in like a mixture. The lashon is a chavara in a sifter. But what is he doing? He's just sitting down there. That's good to the whole. Even if you're not doing a ma'aser, you like it. So if he's allowing him to do it, even if he's not doing anything, he's chayav. No, talk about it, he cut himself. So you have makif and he gets two lavin. One's out to makif, he's the barber. There's an ikaf because he did it for himself. He's he's just helping out. And he's chayav. And here come the Rishonim ask, we learn Masechet Shabbos and Messiah in Mamash. So why here Messiah is more chayav? The simple understanding here is more Messiah than usual. It's not talking about Messiah, just you could do without him. He needed to bring his head to the right place. Like the bar tells him, move your head, pick up your head. That's what's called Messiah. So he's Yesh Mamash in this case. Says the Gemara, says the Gemara, someone who ruins the beard, what Shiboilis Kanoi? What Shiboilis Kanoi? That's what the Rivan says. And what's the 5? The 1, 2, 3, 4, where either ear in this side or this side, and then the ear in the middle. These are the 5 areas. Each one of them, you have your own. There's your own lav. It's 5 lavim cutting up the beard. I hope that by tomorrow we'll see. But we'll try to get a little bit more into the halachas. So we have halacha regarding the payas and this thing. Shakoyach.
Good night.